Hi, I'm Jenny Pace, and you're listening to the Better Business Podcast. This is the place for makers, solopreneurs, and product-based business owners to get tips, advice, and inspiration on running their business that's profitable, that's fun, and that's kind of what you want to be doing with your life. I can't wait to share my tips and ideas, to share book reviews, and to help you run a better business for life.
Hey everyone, welcome to a new episode of the podcast. Today I'm talking about email marketing, and I'm talking about it with a specific interpretation of email marketing that is for makers, creatives, and people with product-based businesses, physical items that you're selling in your shops. Because A, that's my background, but also because there is a lot of information out there about email marketing, and a lot of it is geared towards service-based businesses, bloggers, influencers. And so I wanted to do a little introduction really into email marketing for more product-orientated businesses. So if you are making something, if you are having stuff manufactured, if you're physically posting out stuff, if you have an online shop, this is for you. I'm really conscious that there's a lot of business advice out there and marketing advice out there, and I'm really keen to not add stuff to your plate because Lord knows we have plenty to do already. What I do want to do in the podcast and in general is talk about things that can be really game-changing, and that if you are able to integrate them into your business, they're going to pay off. And email marketing, sending newsletters to your audience, people that have signed up, is one of those things. Here are some reasons why. A lot of small creatives get started because they have a creative skill or talent. And I see lots of businesses get started relying on other platforms for their sales, which, don't get me wrong, is a great way to get started. Joining Etsy or Not on the High Street, using a Facebook group or social media to get you going. Really, really great. And this is not to say that social media isn't important, it absolutely is. And it's not to say that marketplaces can't be an incredibly useful, resourceful place to be. They totally can be. But as you get bigger, it can be a little bit unnerving and unreliable to not have some of your own marketing foundations in place. By which I mean having a social media platform that you are taking care of and nurturing regularly, and having an email database that you connect with regularly as well. So for example, if you make a sale on Etsy, Etsy owns that customer's data. Etsy are quite good at helping you to update people that are following you or have bought from you before. They're pretty good at that, but there's no obligation for them to do that. And you can't email your customer and say, hey, I've got some new stuff, do you want to check it out? Email marketing is a great way for you to grow a very loyal and repeat customer base. It converts at about 40% higher than social media, which means you get 40% more sales for the effort you put in. There's loads of research that demonstrates that time and money spent on email marketing actually pays off really well compared to other marketing efforts. And here's why. So social media obviously is wonderful. You can meet people where they are. You can acquire customers. You can get in front of people for the first time. You can really cultivate a great brand experience where people can understand who you are and what you offer. They can get excited and they can connect with you. They can understand what you're about. But people on social media sometimes are going to click through and buy stuff and go away from the platform. But quite often they're going to hang around and consume content on Instagram or Facebook. With email marketing, what you'll find is get a little bit more attention. There's a bit more intentionality and focus for email. So if someone clicks to open your email after inviting you into their inbox, people are looking out for your emails. There's a little bit more curiosity and interest and intrigue in someone opening your email. They're also in a place where they're more likely to go through and complete a purchase. So whilst you might have started cultivating interest and getting people excited about a product or a new range or just your brand in general, email is a place where they can really dig into the details. They can really get that final little nudge over the line to make the purchase. And you can do that in all kinds of lovely ways, sharing product feature emails. You can tell stories in email. You can share things that are helpful. Email is really this lovely combination of helping customers to get to know you more and trust you more. It's a great place to pull out some of the benefits of your products and your services, like having a free delivery offer, having personalization, and you can really tap into your customers' desires. And you can tell those stories really beautifully with an email. They don't have to be super long. Here are a few thoughts and ideas on how you can start to integrate email newsletters into your marketing. And I have some resources on my blog. I'll put them in the show notes. So quite often when I start working with clients on email, they join my membership, the Better Business Collective, or I'm working one-on-one with them. Typically they have an email list. It might be quite small and they might have not really been giving it any love for a while. And that's where you can start to re-engage and warm up that list again. I have a blog on how to do that, like what to write, what to start sharing again. And then you can grow your list. So there are some great ways that you can organically and naturally grow your email list by putting it in the right places. So having it on your homepage, having it in the footer of the rest of the pages on your website. You might have a pop-up on your website that pops up when people are maybe looking to leave. You can invite them to stay in touch. You can also have specific blog posts that you point people to joining the newsletter so that they can get stuff like that in their inbox. And you can also use your social media marketing and your product launches to build your newsletter list. So by sharing new product with your email list first, you can push people to join the newsletter list and therefore come a bit closer into your world. Even if you don't do that through product launches, having a regular moment before you send out your newsletter to remind your Instagram or Facebook followers that they can go and sign up and get the email newsletter, really handy as well. So make sure you're doing some of those things. I've got another blog post that lays that out if you want to go and check that out. I wrote it before Christmas in 2020, so it is a bit Christmas orientated, but there are things that you can do all the time. The other one, which is really key, I think, from my point of view, is when you do have customers checking out on your website to make sure you have a tick box so that they can join the newsletter that way. They give you permission as they're checking out to email them, because email is such a good repeat customer marketing tool, building that loyal following. Really helpful to do it there and capture those already engaged customers. And it is helpful to do before Christmas. I know that this is going to go out in like May, June, but just as a reminder that as you have a high volume time in terms of orders, capturing as many of those customers you can is really handy. Okay, so let's say that you are nurturing that list. You've got those sign up things in place. You've maybe warmed up your list, or you're planning to warm up your list. How often should you be sending out emails? So I have a lot of thoughts on this, and it does really depend on your brand, your values, how much content you generate in general, how many products you have is also a really big factor in a way as well. So I think weekly emails is a great place to be if you have quite a large range of products and you're pretty used to generating a decent amount of content through social media. If you're pretty good at coming up on stories and chatting, or if you are pretty good at writing a blog once a week or even once a fortnight, and you have, let's say, 50 plus products in your shop, you're probably the right fit for a weekly newsletter. They don't have to be super long. You can share different parts of your range. You can refer people back to social media content that they might have missed. You can repurpose that content and turn it into email content. All of that stuff, really great. If you are a slightly smaller business, or you have a product range that isn't as big or as varied, if you don't create other content super frequently at the moment, fortnightly is probably the best way to go. I don't want you to aim for a monthly newsletter. And here is why. Unless you have a very engaged social media following who are the people that are coming over to your newsletter, and I mean very engaged, a monthly newsletter basically requires you to reintroduce yourself every month. And so that unless you have that kind of brand awareness and recognition so that people go, oh yes, I want to open that email as soon as it lands in their inbox, a monthly newsletter can be work that feels like it doesn't pay off, as opposed to a fortnightly newsletter where you can serve great content, you can help your customers, you can demonstrate your value, and they can be lovely. People really want to open every couple of weeks, twice a month, every couple of weeks, somewhere in that zone. That is about the right frequency for a small business. If you don't have a huge customer base and are generating a lot of content already. I know for some people that will sound like, oh, I don't know if I can do it more than once a month, or I don't even know if I can do it at all. And I get it. I totally get it. It's the same with all marketing content. In my experience, it can feel sometimes a bit daunting to be like, what am I going to share? Go back to the podcast episode about how to share your products. That has loads of really great ideas on different ways you can talk about your products, different ideas. There are a lot of ideas that are good for social media, but to be honest, email marketing isn't super different. You're just meeting your customer in a different place. So the things that are important about email newsletters are the subject line. Let's make sure that that is really fun and intriguing and is going to be something that your customers want to open. Please don't call it May newsletter, for example. And then making sure that you have the right balance of content. And this is something that evolves over time as you figure out what works for your customers. It's totally fine to simply share your product in new ways with each newsletter. You might tell a little story about them, share who it's for, why you've created it, a little bit of behind the scenes. It's also really lovely to just do some brand content and just do some lovely, inspiring, supportive, helpful content. So there are some things that you might have created as a blog or a reel or a story or a post on Instagram, or that are geared towards like how to do something, how to create a gallery wall, blah, 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 blah. Those kind of things that are very, they're not really selling a product, they're helping your customer. Those are things that are great to include as a newsletter, or introduce them in the newsletter and then link through the blog. Really, really easy, great way to just meet your customers where they are and improve their lives. So you don't have to overthink the content of your newsletter loads. Coming up with a couple of different layouts and designs is really handy. Keep things consistent visually. But in general, you don't have to do a massive long email every time. Make sure that you do include product somewhere in the email each time. Even if you're doing an email that is more like helpful, brandy, inspiring, make sure you've got some products at the bottom, just for the people who are looking for a birthday gift that week and need reminding that you have some nice things. And then, you can also do some lovely product-orientated emails as we approach key gifting occasions. Mother's Day, Father's Day, Christmas, Valentine's Day, wedding season. Email is really helpful to nudge people through the checkout, to get their attention at a point when they are in purchase mode. Like I say, sometimes people are buying a birthday gift or an anniversary gift. You don't know what date that is due. You don't know what date that falls. They have it in their mind, and actually your email gets to them just at the right moment. As we come up to other occasions that are relevant to your brand and your product, again, email is just a great way to meet people where they are. So as people start making their wish lists for Christmas or shopping for their loved ones at Christmas, for your emails to land and help them to engage with making that purchase. Like I said at the beginning, email converts about 40% higher than social media. And that means that it just nudges people through the checkout. So definitely as we come up to gifting occasions, that is a time to do more product features, use customer reviews and feedback in your emails to cement that customer trust, and just in general raise your profile and your brand during those times. So I hope this has been a helpful little introduction into email marketing. If you have questions or even like requests on how I could talk about this more on the podcast, you're very welcome to DM me on Instagram. I'm at @thejennypace, or you can come and hang out with me in my emails. You can sign up to my newsletter and get more resources there. There are more resources for email on my blog. I'll pop them in the show notes so you can click through and get the relevant. You can get previous blog posts, as well as the podcast episodes that I was mentioning. I also teach email marketing for makers and product-based businesses within my membership, the Better Business Collective. If you're listening to this when it goes out, we are probably just in the last few days of it opening for the summer season, which is a great moment to join and build up your newsletter skills before we reach Christmas. So if that sounds like something that you are interested in, you can head over to thejennypace.com/the collective. I'm super into it, to be honest. It's something that I feel like it's just so worth investing your marketing energy into, because it has such great returns. So I look forward to talking to you again soon. Let me know if you found this episode useful, and I hope you have a really great week wherever you are. Take care.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Better Business Podcast. I would love it if you could subscribe so that you don't miss any of the new episodes coming out. And of course, share with any creative business owners. I'll see you really soon. Take care. Bye.